Kimchi. Oh, hey. That's gonna be the opener. I think my goal for the next year is to just fall back in love with myself and life. Start to romanticize my life in a way where I'm able to appreciate who I am and everything that I've been able to accomplish thus far. I think self-love can be attributed to many things, but here are some of the ways I kind of define it. Self-love means to value yourself, to treat yourself with kindness and respect, to take care of yourself physically and emotionally, and to allow yourself to make mistakes. My main goal this year is self-love. Good enough for now. And goals are usually accomplished by two major factors. 1, motivation, and 2, dedication. Motivation is usually defined as a driving force that pushes us to take action. It can come from within, such as a desire for personal growth, or from external sources like a reward or a breakup. In my case, it's a combination of both. Wanting to grow as an individual, but a part of this is also due to a multitude of breakups. Dedication, on the other hand, is the sustained commitment to a task or goal despite any challenges or setbacks that may come our way. The main difference is that motivation can fluctuate over time, while dedication is something you maintain regardless of ups and downs. And I think that in order to cultivate self-love, dedication needs to be the fuel that we use to reach this goal instead of motivation. So I have an interview in about 15 minutes. It's been kind of stressful because I initially already had a job lined up after this one. Not even like 3 days ago, all of a sudden, I guess the Hagwon was like, sorry, we're not hiring anymore. Yeah. So far I have 4 interviews. I'm gonna finish the day with 5 interviews. Within the past 2 days. It's been super stressful getting all the interviews done. Unfortunately, I think I've had a couple good interviews and I have been extended a job offer already by one of the Hagwons that I interviewed for. But I'm really hoping for one of the public schools that I just interviewed with this morning. The thing is, the job I got offered at the Hagwon has a really nice location and the public school is not that great. It's like not terrible, but it's not as nice of a location as the Hagwon location. Like the Hagwon one is like basically center of Seoul, and then the public school is kind of like right on the outskirts of Seoul, which is still like either way, both are still really great in comparison to where I am living now. Because where I am living now from my school, it takes like 2 hours roughly just to get into the outskirts of Seoul. So honestly, anything is kind of better than nothing. Yeah, keep my fingers crossed. Hopefully things work out. We'll see what happens. Yay. Okay, so I am from the States, specifically Colorado. Oddly enough, I've always been motivated to try and embrace myself for who I am. After being in and out of relationships for the past 4 years, I was always looking for a solution to fix myself, such as going to the gym, journaling, reflecting, making YouTubes. But I think it's because I was always trying to find a piece of myself and others that I could never truly stay dedicated to myself. I can kind of sum up the 4 years I spent in Korea thus far like this. 1, going through a toxic relationship. 2, losing value in myself. And then 3, blaming myself for the failures. And 4, not giving myself enough time to heal.
They pay for my ticket. Okay, when you get married, you invite me. Oh, Roger. Yeah. Wait, is that a video? I'll be like, okay.
Huh? I've always made reflection videos and I've done activities that were therapeutic for me and taken care of myself physically and tried to emotionally. I've always tried to open myself to new experiences and new relationships, but I've never really given myself time to rebuild myself from a broken relationship, to rebuild myself from a broken version of me.
Hugo.
I actually didn't want to come to the party, but I ended up coming anyways. It ended up being really fun.
Being famous in
She just wants me because of my fame.
Yes, I want you to be famous.
She doesn't actually like me.
I just love famous friend.
Motivation is important for changing yourself. Making initial movement to embrace this idea that there is a better, stronger version of you ahead is what I would consider brave. But motivation by itself was never enough. Because I think nowadays staying motivated to this course of self-love is becoming more and more difficult. As we get older, life becomes faster. And now we're starting to live in a world where we only see the highlights of others on social media, where we see progress being made in a 10-second video. We can't help but want a solution right away. It becomes more and more difficult to stay motivated to anything nowadays. And of course, I've definitely been guilty of this as well. I've always pursued an immediate solution to these negative emotions. And because of this, I feel like I don't have a stable foundation of who I am. If I look back now at my past selves, Year 1 in Korea was a heartbroken broke post-grad, running away from his problems. Year 2 in Korea was a devalued soul who sat in a toxic relationship hoping he can change them. And between year 3 and 4, this person had found a glimpse of happiness but lost it because he wasn't content with who he was and what he had become. And only now, towards the end of year 4, did he become a person who started to recognize himself when he stared in the mirror.
What? Are my lips not like unnaturally pink right now? It's like my face too. What is going on? Look at this decoration. Wow. So beautiful. So magnificent. Korean style. Probably we're gonna regret saying this. But it is what it is. It's beautiful. Like, 진짜 beautiful.
There's a saying that if you don't give your body a break, it will take one for you. And I didn't realize that the same also applies for your mental and emotional health. And so it's been about 7 months now since the making of this video that I've been on an emotional and mental break up. And if I'm being honest with you all, it's only been the last week or so where I started to actually feel the least bit better. And so as I'm reaching the end of this year, I'm once again reflecting on what I need to do now to become this better version of myself. Because it does seem like I'm constantly meeting these requirements when it comes to healing and learning about self-love. I've done my reflections. I continue to do activities to keep myself healthy. I spend time with people who are close to me, and I've always tried to embrace new experiences and even new relationships. But once again, the final step that I've always been missing throughout these 4 years, and probably 8 years if I really go back, was taking time for myself. And for once, at the end of this 4th year, it seems like I'm finally doing that. So it should work out, right? But I think as I've been reflecting, there's another ingredient that I think is even more important that I've been missing. And that's dedication. Dedication to myself.
Hello, I am at school. And, well, work hasn't even technically started. I'm just here like super early to prepare for my students. And since I'm done preparing, I need to finish writing for this vlog, actually. So let's get to work. Okay.
Like I mentioned, I've always been motivated for self-care, but what I continuously forget to do is to put quality and consistent effort into those aspects of self-care. For example, once I've reached a certain threshold of self-care, I would just stop working on it. I would think that I did enough because I felt like I was sturdy again. But that's why things would always fall back down.
Good morning, everyone. Today it is currently a Monday, December 26th. I'm tired, but I have so much to do before the year is over.
And so now, looking at this new year, I'm gonna try to rebuild myself. What I mean by this is, what if I start looking at my life and myself as building a home? So I think most of us know the story of the 3 little pigs and the big bad wolf, right? Where the house of straws was easily blown away, but the house of bricks wasn't blown away at all. The house of bricks was built with care, in consideration for what materials would be used to make the house. In the past, I think I consistently approached my home too carelessly, quickly gathering the materials I could find, patching it together and calling it good, calling it self-care. But because of that, my home would easily get blown away anytime I faced adversity. As a matter of fact, it couldn't even maintain love or happiness because it was built on the wrong materials. To be honest, the only materials that I've gathered thus far to build a strong foundation are volleyball and going to the gym.
Because I'm not even sure exactly what the main topic of the vlog is gonna be. Of course, it's gonna be something about like the end of the year, but I'm like, it has to be targeted, I guess. So that's unfinished. And then I still have to finish booking the rest of my plans and flights and just everything for my vacation during January. I still only have my ticket for Japan booked, and that's it. What else do I need to do? I just have so much stuff to do. Yeah, I just have to study Korean, and I have to stretch and drink water. So much to do before the year ends.
So this year, I no longer want to build a house made of straws. Instead, I hope to build one filled with my ambitions and things that make me happy to be me. I want to have such a strong foundation of self that whatever adversity I face in the future, I know I can take it. Because with a strong foundation of self, I know I'll always be there to pick myself back up. My focus each day is to be myself, live my true passions, inspire greater health, and wear my soul shamelessly with strength and grace.
Wow. Good thing. Not really aesthetic. I'm not good at aesthetic vlogs. Yeah. So if you like aesthetic vlogs, don't watch my vlog. Yeah, whatever. You watch my previous one.
I want to feel like I can shamelessly be me. I want to create content without worrying about likes and views. I want to post not only in hopes to inspire others to be happy with their own life, but to track my own progression of self-growth and love. I want to be inspired to create content through the joys of my own life, instead of content inspired by my sad boy vibes. I want to be happy pursuing my passion, even if it doesn't make sense to others. I want to be in a relationship where I'm mentally and emotionally healthy and ready. I want to not feel guilty about living abroad. I want to feel like I'm living life and enjoying it instead of being dragged by it.